Jimmy Palmer had always been the quiet heartbeat of the team. While agents chased suspects through dark streets, while directors argued with politicians, while lives hung in the balance during dangerous missions, Palmer was usually the man standing in the background, with a gentle smile, a joke that arrived at exactly the right moment, or a kind word that helped somebody survive the worst day of their life. For years, fans of NCIS watched him grow from an awkward assistant in Autopsy to one of the most beloved characters in the entire franchise. He was never the loudest voice. He was never the toughest fighter. He was never the agent kicking down doors. But somehow, Jimmy Palmer became something even more important. He became the soul of the building. And that is exactly why many fans believe Season 24 could become the most emotional chapter of his story. Recent discussion surrounding the future of the series has focused heavily on shocking losses, dangerous cliffhangers, and the emotional fallout still spreading through the team after Season 23. The finale left multiple characters standing on unstable ground, while showrunner comments suggested that the consequences would be severe moving forward. Parade. For Jimmy Palmer, however, the danger may not come from a gunshot. It may come from grief. A character built through pain. One reason viewers connect with Palmer so strongly is because his life has never been easy. Many television characters experience tragedy once and then move on. Jimmy never had that luxury. Over the years, he has endured heartbreak after heartbreak. Fans still remember his difficult journey with Brina, the struggles they faced while building a family, and the devastating moment when she died. Even years later, many viewers continue to discuss how much suffering Palmer has carried throughout the series. Yet he kept going. That became his defining characteristic. Every time life knocked him down, he found a way to stand back up. He showed up for work, he raised Victoria, he supported his friends. He honored Ducky's legacy. He continued helping families find answers after terrible losses. Most importantly, he kept choosing kindness. That kindness turned him into one of the emotional centers of NCIS. The weight of Ducky's legacy. The death of Dr. Donald Mallard changed everything. To many viewers, Ducky was more than a medical examiner. He represented wisdom, history, tradition, family. When Palmer stepped into a larger role after Ducky's departure, he inherited much more than a job title. He inherited an enormous emotional responsibility. Every autopsy room conversation suddenly felt different. Every lesson Ducky once taught carried new meaning. Jimmy wasn't simply solving cases anymore. He was preserving a legacy. Fans saw the pressure immediately. There were moments when Palmer appeared confident and capable. There were other moments when the weight of expectations seemed almost overwhelming. That burden has not disappeared. If anything, it has continued growing. Season 24 could explore what happens when a man spends years trying to be strong for everyone else, and finally reaches a point where he has nothing left to give. The end of Jimmy and Jessica changed him. Another major turning point came through his relationship with Jessica Knight. For a while, viewers believed Jimmy had finally found happiness again. Their relationship felt warm, comfortable, real. It wasn't built on dramatic television twists. It felt like two adults slowly discovering they belonged together. That made the breakup even harder. Although the split happened some time ago, many fans continue debating whether the relationship could eventually be repaired. Online discussions remain divided, with some viewers hoping for reconciliation and others believing both characters have permanently changed. For Jimmy, however, the emotional damage mattered regardless of where the relationship eventually ends. The breakup reopened wounds that never fully healed after Brina's death. It reminded him how quickly happiness can disappear. It forced him to confront fears he had spent years trying to hide: abandonment, loneliness, loss. Those themes have always lived beneath Palmer's cheerful personality. Season 24 may finally bring them to the surface. a team living through trauma. The entire NCIS family enters season 24 carrying emotional scars. The death of director Leon Vance created a massive hole within the organization. His loss affected every member of the team differently and fundamentally changed the future of the agency. For Palmer, the impact may be especially significant. Jimmy has always formed deep personal connections with the people around him. He does not separate work from family. To him, the team truly is family. Every funeral hurts. Every loss matters. Every empty chair becomes impossible to ignore. As season 24 begins, viewers may see Palmer struggling beneath the accumulated weight of years of grief. Not one tragedy, not two, but dozens. The kind of grief that builds slowly, the kind that waits patiently until one final event causes everything to collapse. The breaking point fans are talking about. When fans discuss Jimmy Palmer's future, one phrase appears repeatedly: breaking point. Not because viewers want to see him suffer, because many believe the story has been building toward it for years. Jimmy has spent decades supporting everyone else's emotional recovery. What happens when he needs help himself? That question feels increasingly important. Imagine Palmer walking through the halls of NCIS. He passes memories everywhere. Ducky, Brina, friends who left, friends who died, relationships that ended, dreams that changed. Most people would struggle carrying that much emotional history. Jimmy carries it every day. Eventually, even the strongest people reach a limit. Season 24 has an opportunity to explore that reality with unusual honesty. Why a darker story could actually be hopeful. At first glance, a Palmer breakdown sounds tragic, yet it could become one of the most inspiring stories the show has ever told. Television often celebrates physical heroism, the brave agent, the dangerous mission, the dramatic rescue. Emotional healing receives far less attention, but it matters just as much. If Jimmy finally admits he is struggling, it would not represent weakness. It would represent courage. Many viewers see themselves in Palmer because he feels human. He worries. He doubts himself. He makes mistakes. He loves deeply. Watching him ask for help could resonate with audiences in a powerful way. Brian Dietzon's greatest opportunity yet. Much of the excitement surrounding this possibility comes from the performance of Brian Dietzon. Over the years, Dietzon transformed Palmer from comic relief into one of the most layered characters on television. His strongest scenes rarely involve action. They involve emotion, quiet conversations, personal loss, moments of vulnerability. When given dramatic material, he consistently delivers some of the show's most memorable performances. That is why many viewers believe a major Palmer-focused storyline could become one of season 24's highlights. The character possesses decades of emotional history. The actor possesses the talent needed to bring that history to life. Together, they create enormous storytelling potential. Victoria may become the key. One person could play a critical role in Palmer's future: his daughter, Victoria. For years, Jimmy has fought to be the father she deserves. Everything he does ultimately comes back to her. If Palmer begins falling apart emotionally, Victoria may become the person who forces him to confront what is happening. Children often notice changes adults try to hide: a missed smile, a distant expression, an unusual silence. Season 24 could explore how grief affects families across generations, not through dramatic speeches, through small moments: a conversation at breakfast, a school event, a simple question from a daughter who knows her father better than anyone else. Those scenes could be far more powerful than any action sequence. The future of Jimmy Palmer. Nobody outside the writer's room knows exactly what season 24 will bring. The series still has major cliffhangers to resolve, including dangerous situations involving Torres, McGee's son Mateo, and the larger leadership changes facing NCIS. Parade. But one thing feels increasingly clear. Jimmy Palmer's story is entering a new chapter. The smiling medical examiner who spent years helping everyone else may finally have to face his own pain. And if that happens, it could create one of the most emotional journeys the show has ever attempted. Not because Palmer is weak, not because tragedy defines him, but because healing is often harder than surviving. For more than 2 decades, NCIS has told stories about crime, justice, loyalty, and sacrifice. Season 24 may add something else to that list: recovery. And if Jimmy Palmer truly reaches his breaking point, viewers may discover that his greatest act of courage is not solving a case or saving a life,